Hi, I'm Keith Cross, Global Strategic Account Manager here at PPG. Today I'm joined by Stacy Wolff, Global Leader of Design and Sustainability at HP. So Stacy, thank you for joining us for this discussion between HP and PPG. And today our conversation will focus a bit on design, sustainability, industry-leading solutions, all the things that we talk about on a normal day-to-day basis, right? But before we get into the questions, I was hoping you could do a brief introduction and give the team a little bit more information about your background and role at HP for us.
Sure. Thanks, Keith. And thanks for doing this. It's always good to chat kind of across companies and kind of share the things that we do. I know you and your team and a lot of the folks that I haven't met work very hard to make HP successful, so I appreciate that. The team here, and I say the team here, I'm talking about inclusive of the company, not so much location. So today I'm in Texas, but like yourself and anybody that's kind of in the modern company of movement, we're always someplace, and that's really where HP's kind of carved out a unique spot for themselves. Is we deal in a hybrid world. And so when we talk about the design organization has really three locations. There's two places in the U.S. There's Texas, which gives us a classic site in Houston for some of the PC activities. And then we're also in Palo Alto, which is obviously where the foundation or the founders formed HP. And we have our Taiwan office, which gives us a footprint in Asia and development. From a design standpoint, we have a multitude of different talents. I think when we say design, it's kind of underrepresenting the amalgam of different disciplines that we have on the team. We have folks that are classic industrial designers, yes, but CMF, which is probably near and dear to the heart of PPG, we have a very large team that is in each of those locations. And what's really critical is that they're embedded into the design development. And as we think about design development, we have to think about engineering. And so there's the classic engineering that may be in some parts of the business, but we also have engineering embedded in the design function, because as we deal with coatings and materials, as well as the structure of things, we need to make sure that we're designing for the robustness and the durability and all the things that you guys make your coatings and other materials so great with. When we talk about our focus, I alluded to it earlier, is that we've gone from just making a PC, which is an album, kind of accumulation of different technologies into a package, and now we're doing really solutions. We have consumer solutions, we have, I'll call it enterprise, or what we might call commercial solutions, and we have vertical solutions. And vertical solutions could be retail point of sale, or it could be some of our workstation business where we're dealing with some very advanced compute type pieces. So we really run the full spectrum. Within my organization, we're really responsible for the PC side, or what we would call personal systems. And so on personal systems, that really is everything that isn't print. So we're a busy bunch of folks that are constantly trying to use the term HP's used in the past, reinvent ourselves. And if you're not, I know people have always looked at that term reinvent, but if you're not reinventing, you're standing still. And so we constantly look at where the market's going and how do we adapt our business structure to that new norm or that new possibility. And again, compliments to you and your team, Keith, is that you guys have been hand in hand with us.
Oh, great. Thank you, Stacy. And we appreciate it. It's a great synergy between our companies, right? I think we bring a level of expertise in color and design of color and options, and you have everything in order to take our color and make it successful, right? And I think for those of you that aren't familiar with the term CMF, color, material, feel. So that's a pretty broad-based paintbrush to put on a job of what it takes to put a coating and a paint on a product and make it look right as it was designed, make it feel right, and make it compatible with the material so that you get the durability and functionality. And so it's really a great collaboration. So with that, you were recently selected as the laureate of the American Prize for Design in 2023, an award celebrating design, excellence, and innovation. What does that mean to you and your team at HP?
Well, I think it's more of a representation of the team, and I'll include PPG in the recognition for the award. I'm not a big fan of personal recognition because I don't think we stand alone. We stand together, and so for me, the award is a recognition of the larger body of HP and our partners like PPG in the sense of how we're innovating and what we're doing new. And I think the call out of that award is a little bit more about not doing it just once. We certainly are a company, as you are. We're not a one-hit wonder, right? We have a consistent track record of delivering meaningful innovation that impacts our customers' lives. And so whether we be on the professional side or the consumer side, it's an important factor. And from a design standpoint, it's nice to get the recognition, but at the end of the day, I'm very much focused on the success of the company. And so appreciate it. I respect the award greatly, but what I tell the team here is that, for us to win the award, it took a team effort. And so I look at it as a team recognition.
Oh, that's great. And I couldn't agree more with those type of awards, but it's great to get the recognition. And I think you hit on a key topic. You're not a one-hit wonder. You've created a multitude of designs and award-winning products. So with that, as you and your team have created these award-winning product lines, designs, what inspires that creative process?
It comes from a variety of different sources. You guys play a role in some of your advanced labs. We are literally a design sponge. We're soaking up things from all around the world. We attend different events. I like to say we tend to go to places where other people don't go, in the sense of CES, which I know a lot of people go to because it says electronics show. That's like going in a time machine and going backwards. So what you see there is stuff people did a year, 2 years ago. We tend to look at places that are not design, or I should say electronic centric, but are actually more design centric. And an example of that would be Milan Furniture Fair. So we've been there for so many years. And what I like about it is it's an output of artisans where you see things that are a little bit more bespoke, but then you see that opportunity. How do we take it more mass market? How do we scale it? And we're not alone. Although we were there a long, long time ago, we see a lot of our competitors as well as a lot of peers in the industry now they're representing, doing quite a bit of, I think, cross-marketing even in that event, because it really is an amalgam now of you have artists, you have engineers, software, which is obviously a key component on these experiences, that's represented there. And it's an amazing time, and we send a number of designers there. But beyond that, we also attend, it could be Fashion Week, it could be different, I'll call it design events globally. And what that allows us to do is, one, there's a social interaction for us to kind of exchange ideas. There's a visual capture in the sense of what other people are displaying or what we're seeing. And like society today, it's the multiplicity of input. And so whether we're doing searches across the internet of what's new, what's happening, or we're at a show, we're constantly kind of soaking that in. We did make some changes structurally in the design team, though. We added a futurist to the design team recently, which helps us, I'll call, kind of prioritize and kind of look at things. There's so many things that could be a possibility, but putting it in a more systematic way where we start to look at a cone of projection, where we see new technology showing up. So, what's in the 5-year mark? What's the 10-year mark? What's in the 15-year mark? And then looking at those and tracking those. And they give us, I'll call it North Stars, that allow us to say, you know what, there's something there. Let's go further with it. And we continue to do that. So putting structure to what some folks might call dreaming or just, playing around. Yes, that is part of, I think, the innovation process. It's not a linear process. It's very much about trial and error and failure. But putting a structure to it that helps you capture that vision is so strong. And we use that on a constant basis. So we're constantly doing a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year look at our own roadmap. And as we look at that Kona projection of possibilities, we overlay that and we say, this is going to come in the next couple of years. We need to start to do some different thoughts on how that will be captured in a future compute model, if you will. And you guys are seeing it today. You just don't know it. Everything that we've put forth in the last few years has had some beginning in some of the things that I went through. So it's a fun process. I think for a lot of people on the outside, especially if you're more analytical, it would look like chaos in the kitchen. But honestly, there is a method to the madness, and the madness tends to have a very good output.
Oh, that's great. And I think I like the concept of the North Star, right? I always love having that out there, because it doesn't mean you know how you're going to get there, right? It means that there's a goal sitting out there, and you're going to, the value is not the North Star. The value is between where you are now and how do you get to there.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, I think it's like you said, it's not linear. And that's great for the design process. I think
Absolutely.
Expounding on that, in your role, your team's role, you've worked closely with PPG's industry-leading color team. And I think it'd be great to hear from you. How is the partnership with HP and our color design organization help influence the choices that your team makes regarding their products?
Well, I think one is you guys have some very great talent. I mean, it's really nice to partner. A teams like to play with A teams, and I give compliment to PPG. You guys have an A team. The thing that I think in a creative process that is super important is it's not siloed. We exchange ideas, and from that exchange comes new ideas. So I tend to preach math that doesn't get taught in school. 1 + 1 is 3. When we do those collaboration sessions with your team, we tend to have a different output than if we just do internal thing. You're working with a lot of different industries, and that know-how, that understanding plays a role as we advance. And so I think it's a good collaborative process. I would be wrong if I didn't call out some of the key talent that we have on the team. We use not just CMF artists, but we're using material experts. We're using the futurists. We use a lot of computer graphics or CG. And the reason is that you guys and us, we need to see that vision piece, right? That North Star has to have some visual reference. And so as we dream about these future states, we like to use rapid visualization to get there. And so in our process with you, that for those that have not participated in those sessions, it's a little bit of you share, we visualize, we put together a number of concepts, and then we ideate in physical form, right? You guys create a lot of batch formulas for us that we apply to many of the mannequins that we have here, and then we test it. That's the most important thing. Is if you're innovating for yourself, it's kind of there's not a positive outcome there, right? We're not designing for ourselves because we're not selling to ourselves. We're selling to the mass public. And what's so important is to think globally. The colors that we develop for the US may not be the colors we develop for Japan. And we try to be very relevant in country. And so the relationships that we have with you, because you're global and we are global, we want to make sure that when we put those coatings or those colors to form, we go out and test it. So we spend a lot of time, and I know it probably drives a lot of your lab guys crazy. It's like, no, another one, and tweak it here and tweak it there. But those subtle shifts of what we do are so important, because there's the nuances of those colors that we create that allow us to really delight our customers. I can't tell you that, for the industry that I've known for so many years, and I think it's the same for you, is that we've gone into the world of silvers, grays, and blacks for so long. It's so nice to kind of sit back and see these color-infused neutrals starting to show up as dominant players. Not that long ago, we started doing some blues and some other colors with you, and now they're core. And what's so surprising to us is if we go and try to neutralize them, taking some of the color, the hue out of it, what we find is the customer's like, hey, why did you change it? I love that color. So it's an exciting process. I think the team here, and hopefully your team on your side, every time we do our color batches, it's an exciting time. For me, I'm not always in those sessions, and so it's very exciting to see what comes out. And I think it does look a little bit like a decorator's house, because you have color after color on the table, and we'll sit there, and I'm sure if you're more on the analytical side, you'll see a bunch of designers and other color specialists and stuff looking at about 10 chips of a blue and all seeing different values in that blue color, debating it. Is this trend forward? Is it not trend forward? It's a little bit comical. I think it probably could be a TV show that you could put out there of picking colors with PPG maybe. But it is a lovely process. We have some really good outcomes, and the result is our business. I think we've had some really great successes in a variety of different pockets of our business. It's due to the color and the coating.
Oh, that's great. And I think you hit on a key point when you said A teams like to work with A teams. I think our team knows when it's a color workshop with your HP team, it's going to be challenging, but they rise to it, right? They want that challenge, because as much as your team is inspired, the inspiration your team brings to that color workshop inspires our team. And for those, as you said, that aren't familiar with that, with what happens in a color workshop, it is a very iterative process. And when I first joined this business, I thought blue was blue, white was white, black was black, and I've never been so wrong in my whole life. I've never seen so many shades, hues, saturation levels, and all of these make such a big difference, as you said, at the end market and trying to play to a global audience. And we really enjoy the challenge that your team brings when they come to do the color workshops with us. It's really great. So shifting gears a touch, both PPG and HP have ambitious sustainability goals. And this commitment is directly influencing innovation here at PPG, as it is at HP. And for PPG, we're innovating and developing our waterborne solutions, as an example. So how is sustainability driving the innovation and design process at HP?
Sure. Well, for us, we've put three distinct columns that are umbrellaed under the notion of sustainability. Sustainability, as we talk about, and I think most of us think about, tends to be climate related. These are the products, the coatings, the materials, the recyclability. But we also focus very much on a human rights level, right? So we want to focus on the people that we work with and make sure that we're doing the right thing globally. And we are a company that has to give back. So our equity, if you will, pillar is so important that we are not only doing new and innovation, but we're also recognizing where we also have to keep society as a larger piece in our mind, and how do we benefit those that need benefit. And so we really think of three levels or three pillars of focus. Climate specifically, which is where we spend a lot of our time, we started not that long ago with one of the first products where we did ocean-bound plastics. And it was maybe a mission internally where between design and engineer and product management, we said there's an opportunity here to do better with our product. Why do we have to use virgin resin and so on in all of our products? So we spent a lot of time reinventing our materials. And in that process, we discovered that there is a great opportunity, more than just a small percentage, but to really change the industry, not just adjust or manipulate it a little bit. We're really impacting the entire, I'll call it, food chain of material. So we try to reuse our materials. So if you think about on our print side, those ink cartridges that basically come back to us, we take those and we make new ink cartridges. On our PC products, we make them out of plastic, we make them out of aluminum, we make them out of steel, magnesium, all these different materials. And we're in a constant process of reclaiming those and reconstituting those materials and redeploying those. So we want to keep it circular. We want to keep as much as we can of a reused material and limit our virgin, or if you will, first time use materials. And we started slow, but it's kind of hockey stick, and we're really accelerating. And we want to do that with our coatings, right? One of the biggest things that we have to focus on is, at some point, as much as we might love the devices that we use in our jobs or in our free time, could be gaming, whatever it might be, they eventually have an end of life.
Yes.
And we need to get those systems back in. They need to get torn down, and the materials need to get reused. And so when we do that, we need to make sure that what we coat our systems with, we can filter out, reconstitute, and then put it back into the system. One thing on our products is that, a lot of our products are mobile. And if they're mobile, it's very important that they have a strength and a rigidity and an impact quality to it. And if we have too many foreign contaminants, we lessen that impact and strength. And so we spend a lot of time with your team thinking about, if we're going to put a coating, how thick is the coating? What is the material? Can I separate the material afterwards so that I can reuse the material? Remember, the goal here isn't just to think solely on the base material. It's the coatings as well. That is hand in hand for us. And so for us on our climate piece, that's kind of a first step. The way we look at it is it's very much of a set of stairs. And at a base level, what we use should contain a material that isn't virgin or mined. It's a reuse. Then you have to start thinking about different levels of that stair step. And that's where I think a lot of people talk about reuse. And you can think of companies out there that they actually promote, hey, don't buy a new one, use the old one and we'll even repair it for you. And there's a lot of companies out there today that are doing that. And I think that's great. Technology is a little bit different than maybe a article of clothing that represents your journey in life. So we're being very pragmatic on how we do that. But you're seeing globally a lot of desire for the products that we sell, a portion of that, to have a previous life. So you'll hear in the industry, there's first life and second life. In those second life cases, it's really important that we have a partnership with you, because now we're entering something that's a little bit more like the automotive industry. So as cars come in and now go for resale, what do we have to do? We have to polish them, buff them, recoat them, refurbish them in different ways. And that's really kind of the near-term future. So again, when we think about climate, we can go on for hours about sustainability. We think of it in 3 pillars, and of the climate piece of it specifically, we spend a lot of time with you, your engineers, on thinking about the materials we coat today. What are the materials we're going to be needing in the future? And it's so important. That's where we talk quite a bit about waterborne coatings. We need to leave the solvent world and get to the waterborne world and continue on and on to more organic bases and stuff, so that the materials that we're using, it's not just from a sustainability standpoint, but it's also from what do we do in the environment that we're coating those. So can we improve those VOC outputs so that we're having a better environment as well?
It makes a lot of sense. I think a couple of points you touched on, especially at the end there with the low VOCs and the environment in which the application is happening, right? It's important to get rid of those dangerous chemicals, those solvents. and make it an easier environment for operators and technicians to apply the paints and coatings. The recyclability is key, right? And I think you mentioned this early in the answer, and working together for me has been fabulous because there's a lot of push and pull. We're developing front-end sustainable solutions that we need you to then apply to your equipment. You're saying, okay, thank you for that. However, now we have to improve this to be able to be applied to a recycled substrate and to recycled content. And there's a lot of goodness, I think, between companies that have aligned sustainability goals working together, because our team is working with your team, and there's a lot of push and pull together, almost in a circular fashion, as you had mentioned about the products, going from first life to second life, even maybe third life now, right? And a full from reuse to recycle to repurpose. So I think for us partnering with you partnering with us, it's a great opportunity for us to learn what is needed from you and your customers, and for us to continue to develop the best solutions so that you can continue to have the best options for you and your customers.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
With that, again, we could talk all day about sustainability. I think in closing, what excites you about the future of this industry, and where do you think we're going?
Well, I think there's a couple components of it. One is we're always excited to understand your new technologies. So, my ask of your larger company and team is keep innovating. Where you guys bring new materials to play, we want to use them. So there is, open arms and if you will, a very welcome invite to bring innovation to us. On the PC side, I think we're seeing a future that is about to get a little bit different. There's a lot of talk about AI, artificial intelligence, and I think it's going to ask of both of our teams to think differently. We're going to see a compute or a PC role very different than in the past. We're going to see a level of intelligence and computational power, if you will, in the compute industry that has not been there for a while, right? I was saying that, there's a little bit of a plateauing of innovation over the years. And I think what we're going to see in the coming years with AI as a component to it is a complete change in how we operate. I truly believe AI will be a component when we sit down and innovate. I'm pretty sure that it will be something that we will use as a resource as we develop new materials. And so from the PC side, we see a very bright future. Hopefully you guys are seeing that as we talk about future ventures and stuff. But AI, I think, is a huge stimulant. I think the materials that you develop, which we talked just a minute ago about sustainability, will be a key ingredient, a core component. And I think the way we see society changing, certainly from a global standpoint, we see more and more opportunities. Personalization, I think, ebbs and flows. It comes and goes. Mm-hmm. But I think as we see AI as a component, we see the desire for more unique solutions. I think we're going to see a level of personalization that we haven't seen before. And that may come in the digital form, and it may come in a physical form. So we're very excited about that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about, I think a core asset of this company, which is gaming. I am amazed, and I spent some time traveling recently and seeing some of the development that's going on in the gaming industry. And I think, as we look at that as a component of, you have kind of different modes of life. We talk about hybrid, but different modes of life, right? You have your work mode, and then you have your kind of your home mode. And then there's a little bit of, hey, I work hard, I travel far, I want to relax too. And that's where, parts of our company like HyperX and certainly our Omen line, where we produce gaming vehicles, and it's almost underserving when we say gaming. I really want everybody to think that it may be gaming in the sense of how we used to call it, but it really is about entertainment. So when you think about HP going forward, we're going to be in the AI industry. We're going to be more in the entertainment industry. And as you guys are our partner, we certainly are in the lifestyle industry. So when you put all those together, I think it's a great combination, and we can only do it with your partnership.
Oh, thank you. I think that's a great point, right? With AI and entertainment, it's driving new devices, it's driving new hardware, it's driving new software, new digital innovation, and all of these things, other than maybe the digital aspect, are going to require some type of paints or coatings or functionality, even for material and substrates that go away from a coating. We'll need some level potentially of a functional coating or something of a soft touch, or so. Yep. And I think the consumer demand, just because it's a new device, new hardware, the demand doesn't get any easier. I think they're going to demand from us sustainable solutions, recycled, repurposed, as we talked about earlier. So the innovation is going to be multiple, on different levels, not just on the technology, but on our part as well, to deliver sustainable solutions. So Stacy, thank you very much for your time today. PPG is proud to partner with you and HP and your team on the creative and innovative solutions that are moving our industry forward. So once again, congratulations on your award. I know it's a team award, but congratulations to you and your team award. And thank you for sharing your knowledge and insight with us today.
All right. Thank you very much.